Thank you, Mr. Noel Blank, the voice of Looney Tunes, and a bunch of other stuff as well. So thanks for that introduction. And this is Mr. Don Alexander, who is the photographer, producer, voice of, and probably a couple other
Jack
things.
of all trades.
Jack of all trades. For a show that's been on Channel 6 now for a month or so?
Yeah, a couple months.
A couple months. Backcountry TV, Mr. Don Alexander. Good morning,
Morning,
Don.
John. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for getting up so early to come in.
Well, I won't say it's my pleasure, but I'm happy to be here. So, could you define ubiquitous for us? That was.
You know,
I'm hoping that was a
I'm
compliment.
going to have to look that one up. I'm sure it was. You know, Noel, he slathers it on pretty thick there. He's my agent.
Oh, well, that explains everything then.
So, Don, before we get into talking about the trails and stuff here, a little bit about you. Where are you from originally?
Southern California.
Southern California.
Grew up in Southern California.
Okay, where? It's a big area.
It is a big area, which is why I'm not there anymore. Well, still there, but
Okay.
a little higher. Grew up in Baldwin Park, and lived in South Pasadena before we moved up here 15 years ago. So
And you have a little bit of a background in motor vehicles.
a little, yeah. I started racing go-karts in 1959, and never stopped doing car and now
Yes.
Jeep stuff.
So did you actually race cars?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I started racing go-karts when I was a kid, and basically what you would consider racing, I continued doing all the way through until about 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh my! What kind of vehicles?
Well, I started in go-karts, drag racing when I was old enough to get a driver's license. And as soon as I could get an SCCA license, you had to be 21 at the time. That's Sports Car Club of America. Started racing sports cars.
Okay.
Did that the whole time, basically until about 2008 or 9. Was the last race I actually competed in. And I didn't exactly retire, but I also raced stock cars in there. I was involved in sprint car racing. And probably the most fun of anything I did was an opportunity to drive a pickup truck at Bonneville for Gale Banks Engineering.
Oh my!
And it was a diesel-powered Dodge Dakota, about 850 horsepower, 1,500 pound-feet of torque. And we still are the world's fastest diesel pickup truck at 222 miles an hour.
Things would go by very quickly at that speed.
I had my eyes closed.
Yeah. just put it on a rail and send it around there. And you've done some writing.
Yes. Probably, I won't say it too much, but I've done hundreds of magazine articles. I've been a magazine editor for several different publications.
Road and Track being one of them.
Well, I wasn't the editor of Road and Track.
Oh.
I did a little writing for Road and Track. I was the test driver for Motor Trend. I was the editor of Circle Track magazine, which was an oval track racing magazine, and also freelance for a lot of magazines, Hot Rod, and just a whole bunch of different car magazines. And then about 18 books, I guess.
Wow.
All but 2 of them are driving and
Are they
chassis.
so they're not
No,
romance
they're not
novels
romance
or
novels.
anything?
That might have been more fun.
Okay.
And then now we're publishing a quarterly magazine format
Yes.
that has maps up here called Big Bear Backcountry Adventures. And it has a lot of trail information, some information on how to do off-roading stuff.
Right.
So
Great stuff.
it's a
And
lot
you
of
have
fun.
and you also are coordinating a off-road school that's
Yes.
starting here.
I started high performance driving and racing training in the early 70s. I worked at the Bob Bondurant School, which is a very well-known school. In fact, Bob's son and daughter-in-law live here in Big Bear.
Oh.
So I see Bob once in a while, which is really nice. He's been around forever. And so he was a great mentor in getting started in that. I worked for several other schools over the years. When we came to Big Bear and started doing a lot of off-road stuff, I had an opportunity to do a lot of corporate training. We had clients, or still have clients, like Verizon Wireless.
Wait. And they teach their guys how to race?
No, this is off-roading.
Oh, okay.
Off-roading.
Off-roading for
Sorry,
Verizon
I didn't quite
Wireless.
make it. Yeah.
Okay.
Which
It's going to go. They're still late for their appointments. But no. Even with the training. No.
well, actually, we should maybe train them to drive faster.
Yeah, so corporate training. Now, So they're going off to work on lines and
Well,
poles or things, or what?
Verizon Wireless, a lot of the cell towers are in very remote locations.
Ah,
And we train them. It's actually a combination of driving, survival, how to get unstuck if you get your vehicle stuck, or preferably how not to get it stuck in the first place. And some of the one of the problems they have is they have a single vehicle with a single person in it. So if they get stuck, they have a problem.
right.
So we go over all the techniques, including like letting people know where you are, and if you don't come back,
Right.
come look for you. Just some simple things like that.
Because that's not what an off-road person would do. They wouldn't go alone.
Not
one
normally,
person,
no.
not
We
normally,
certainly do not
Encourage.
recommend that. We encourage groups, at least 2 vehicles. That way, if you do have a problem, you have help. You have a way to
Right.
get back out. You can do a lot of things if you're stuck. You can do a lot of things to get unstuck. But if you have a mechanical failure, some people are capable of fixing it. But
Right.
even a high-end mechanic, sometimes if it's broken badly enough, you're stuck.
Right.
You have to tow out.
Right.
And if you're by yourself, that becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of techniques to do that, but that's why we have a school,
Okay.
because we teach that.
And this is evolving into something that you're coordinating with the Chrysler dealers and
Yeah,
some other
we
things.
we finally decided we've had enough requests. I had not really pushed going after the general public as part of the market. Part of it was time, doing a lot of other things, and finally came to a point where we decided that it was a good idea to take our basic class formats and offer them to the public. And we're actually doing that in a couple weeks. Our first class is scheduled in a couple weeks.
Oh, good.
We have classes scheduled all through the year. It's on our Jeep4x4school.com website. You can see the different classes, the dates, and actually register online.
Jeep4x4.com.
Jeep4x4school.com.
All right.
And
And you can pick up the magazines all over town. They're great. I don't think I have one here handy, but they've got the maps and QR codes on how to
Right.
get to the trails and all kinds of stuff. Let's take a look at some of the stuff you've been doing, and then we'll talk about what's in the new show that actually premieres today.
excellent.
So we're going to go out in the back country. Let's take a look. So this is this is just the
This is
leader.
actually a 60-second spot on the school, so we can kind of finish up talking about that. We are actually working with some Jeep dealers. We have a 4-hour, basically it's an introduction to Jeeping class. And that class,
Well, there's the first problem with Californians. Most of them, their cars never get off the pavement.
that's true. Even people that buy high-end Jeeps often never get them dirty, at least not on purpose. So it's really a lot of fun, but it's also there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and our classes are designed. Really, the most important thing we can do for our students is to give them confidence, both in their own abilities, but also in the vehicle's
Right.
abilities. And if we can do that, then we've really done a lot.
Well, a lot of it's knowing what your equipment can do and can't do. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right now, we're actually looking at one of our big supporters and a good friend, Ray Curry, who owns Curry Enterprises. Ray has had a house, and his family has had a house up here for, I don't know, probably 30 years. And he owns a company that builds all kinds of Jeep parts, as well as a lot of racing parts. Their company's been around since 1959. He's been a great help. This area is actually called the Gatekeeper. We were just recently up there, John.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
And the Gatekeeper is the most difficult part of the John Bull Trail, which is a well-known 4x4 trail. Very challenging, black diamond. This is on a trail, and I threw this little clip in here because this trail is actually now closed. This was one of the last runs on it. This was about 10 months ago. We still had some snow in March. This is out in the along the Coxie Truck Trail. It's a little spur road. The canyon is called Dono Day Canyon, and the road was closed in a Forest Service project that it was called the Watershed Legacy Project, and basically they closed a few sections of trail and roads in order to control water erosion, which is a big problem.
Right.
wasn't really a big problem here, but we could have lost a lot more than we did. So
Right. Now, looking at a report from a few months ago, it was very interesting. Once the Forest Service closes some of these roads, we see an increase in illegal activity in that area.
that's true.
Such as marijuana farming, illegal timber harvesting, a variety of things. Have you run across anything kind of bizarre?
Well, you kind of run across bizarre things pretty regularly out there. There's a lot of user groups that take advantage of our forest. Recreationalists are honestly by far the least of the problems.
Right.
that-
Oh,
that are out there.
and you've got the Adopt a Trail program, and these people are adamant
Oh, yeah,
environmentalists. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, if you really look at involvement in the forest and who the real conservationists are, our Adopt a Trail program in the San Bernardino National Forest, and there's a spot on this in the new show tonight. Our program puts in about 20,000 man-hours a year maintaining trails,
Wow.
keeping them clean, and honestly, that's one of the reasons the Forest Service has been able to keep trails open. As their budgets get cut, it's that much more important that we have the volunteer corps that we have
Right.
to do the maintenance and keep things open.
And I interrupted you about bizarre things. You were telling me about a machine gun nest?
Yeah, this.
Oh my.
The road it's actually not on a road. It's a hike in to this spot, and it's a seasonal road, so it's not very easy to get to. But routinely over the years, we've had militia groups that have built camps in the desert, in the forest. Several of them in our forest over the years. But in Y2K, there was a militia group that built an encampment east of Big Bear. If you know where Broom Flat is off of Forest Service Road 2101, it was in that general area. And they actually had a machine gun nest built into the top of a tree.
Holy moly.
The Forest Service, the local law enforcement, ATF, raided the place once they found out about it, and I guess a lot of people were arrested. They actually had built a house or a cabin out of rocks. They disassembled most of that, but a lot of the shelving and stuff was still there, where they stored literally thousands of rounds of ammunition. They had built a water system from a stream so that they had water, they had food stores, so they were ready for massive problems.
Wow.
Apparently.
Wow. Very interesting. Well, one of the things that I've enjoyed so much about going out, and I noticed you had my Jeep in there.
So, yeah.
Enjoying
your
is
Jeep,
the
John?
spectacular views, the amazing landscape you see, and how diverse it is in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, everything we've seen is, to get to the exact spot here, for instance, is probably a 30-minute drive from Big Bear, from Faunstown.
Yeah. What have we got? 650 some odd miles of trails.
Yeah, the forest, which includes San Jacinto, is around 1,000 miles. But right here, between Big Bear and Lake Arrowhead, we have over 600 miles of really diverse trails. And if you go outside the forest, there's another 1,000 miles on BLM land roughly between here and Barstow and those areas.
And even though this video is showing us some fairly extreme things, there's a lot of trails that you can go on without having the fully blown and equipped
Absolutely.
Jeep.
There, trails here, this isn't the case every place, but trails here are rated just like ski runs. We have Black Diamond, which is the most difficult, a blue circle, and a green square, which is the easiest. And about close to 90% of the roads in the forest are easy.
Oh, the greens.
On the greens, and a lot of those are maintained to what the Forest Service refers to as a level 3 maintenance. And basically, in dry weather, if there's not snow or a lot of mud, your stock sedan can drive those roads.
Wow.
It's very easy. And then you
Very
go to
nice.
the extreme where we have our modified Jeeps and 4x4s doing trails like we see here, which is Dishpan Springs, which is west of here, and then John Bull, which we saw a little bit earlier. Those are Black Diamond and world-known four-wheeling and rock crawling trails.
Yeah, because this vehicle right here doesn't look like it's got a whole heck of a lot of lift going there.
No, it's about 1.5 inches. That's actually my old Xterra.
Well,
And it's a very capable vehicle, but it's really not suitable for trails like the John Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Could probably make it,
Mm-hmm.
but it would take a long
Right.
time and probably cause some damage.
So once again, how do people find out about the school?
Well, we have two websites. One is our backcountry4x4.com,
Mm-hmm.
and all the information is on there. And we also have our jeep4x4school.com, which only has information about the school.
Okay.
Backcountry 4x4 has a lot of, well, we have almost 250 pages, most of which are maps for off-roading areas on public lands in Southern California.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's a lot of information. So, and it has all of our trails in this area
Fantastic.
on the website.
So pick up the Backcountry TV magazine. It's out right now.
Yes.
All kinds of places, including bearskins. You can't.
He won't let you out of the store with one.
No,
so I
they're
recommend going
without
there.
one. So they're all over the place. Great. And also you can watch right here on Channel 6 at 9 a.m., 5 p.m., and 9 p.m. the new edition of Backcountry TV. And what's in this one real quick? You got 30 seconds.
We've got 3 spots. The Adopt the Trail program. You interview me about
Mm-hmm.
that. We did a spot on Ray Curry on how he drives that Gatekeeper. We just saw a little clip of
Mm-hmm.
that there. And then we have a great segment on All J Products, which is a Big Bear's Jeep shop. Their race vehicle that's preparing for the King of the Hammers, which starts the end of January in Johnson Valley, right down the road from us.
King of the Hammers, and your show will have a 1-hour special
Yes.
on King of the Hammers when that comes up.
And we'll be focusing on the locals that are competing in that event. So.
All right, very good. Well,
Should
thanks
be
for
fun.
coming on.
Thank
Make sure you
you.
tune in for the show, 9, 5, and 9, right here. We'll be back in just a minute with this week's edition from Warner Blank.